It says, Scott steps into Muni legendary status himself with an Act 1 closer, I am what I am. It's on the shirt. All right, Michael, where are we?
I can't stop laughing right now because we are in St. Louis, Missouri. Wait, we're together in person in St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, how are we here? Wait, what are we doing?
You know what? I feel like this is an episode of Doctor Who where we just stepped into the TARDIS, which you probably don't understand that reference, and that's okay. But I feel like we just like stepped into the TARDIS and we're off on our own adventure. But you know what? We're about to get into it in this episode.
Yes.
So let's just do the thing. All right?
I can't stop laughing. All right, let's do it. Okay.
All right, you go first.
I'm Michael James Scott.
And hi, I'm Ashley Eckstein. and welcome to HypeFriend.
Yeah.
Yay! All right, Michael, cheers.
Cheers.
To us being in St. Louis.
Boom. A little sparkling water because I'm really still trying to get Ashley into her sparkling water. Sparkling water. Sparkling water. That's my new jingle for some sparkling water. Bing.
He's really trying to get me to like it.
It's a strawberry peach situation, so we're giving you like a sense of face.
It's like one nostril flared. Do I like it? I mean, I do taste the strawberry and the peach, which is kind of astounding.
Oh my gosh.
I don't hate it.
It's just a nice little something. Oh my gosh. That face is amazing. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh. I don't okay, one more sip.
Okay, just yeah.
It's just like it goes in your mouth and then it just like hits you.
Y'all, she's literally like gagging on the sparkling water. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait.
Okay.
Wait, we got it. What are you doing in St. Louis? How are you here? What is happening? What is going on?
Okay, so here's the deal. So we've talked about this in a previous episode. I have a whole other life, and it's the life as a baseball wife. So,
which I'm obsessed with, and I would like to do an entire episode about it because I have so many questions and so many little intricate details that I want to know about what it's like being a baseball wife. Like, so anyway, but continue.
So I am a proud hype wife. Hype friend, hype wife. My husband, David Eckstein, he used to play Major League Baseball, and he is a legend. I'm going to call him a legend.
Because he will not say that he is like the most humble, gracious soul. He is a legend.
Yes, and especially here in St. Louis. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals in 2005, 2006,
Legendary.
2007, and he won the World Series with the Cardinals in 2006, and he was the World Series MVP.
I mean, like, legend.
So we actually lived here all those years when he played, and we're so blessed that all these years later we get to continue to come back to St. Louis. So David comes several times a year, and he does stuff with the Cardinals. I've had the pleasure of doing stuff with the Cardinals. St. Louis is a home away from home. The St. Louis Cardinals are part of our family, and so we were already scheduled to be here. Okay. So we had a full weekend with the Cardinals. Now,
like months and months and months ago, like as in last year.
Yes.
This was like the plan was this was already done.
Yes. So let me reenact what happened. So I'm scrolling Instagram one day and I'm just like minding my own business. And then all of a sudden, Michael James Scott posts to Instagram an announcement that he's starring in Yellowcard at the Muni. And I'm like, oh, how am I reading about this on Instagram? How did I not hear it from my hype friend? We'll get into that in a minute.
That is a gripe. I know.
That is a gripe. That's a gripe.
Yes, you're right.
But then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go. And so I'm like, when is Yellowcard? And I look at it. It's the exact same weekend that we were already going to be here. Like, we didn't even plan this.
It's so crazy.
Crazy. And we happened to have Friday night free, which was opening night. So,
ladies and gentlemen, our amazing Hype Hood out there community, Ashley and her husband David came with my husband Jeremy to opening night of La Cage au Fall.
Okay, yeah. I asked him how to say it. La Cage.
Well, I was
saying La Cage au Fall. But that's like the Kentucky girl in me. You know, I was born in Louisville, Kentucky. And then so you had to teach me La Cage au Fall. like I'm full.
Yes, full.
Oh, full.
I have to do a little bit of a shoulder with it because it gives the sass.
La Cage au Fall.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Michael.
Yes.
Well, okay.
So that's how this all, we're in the same place.
Okay, so there's a lot I'm about to get into, and hypes and gripes and good gossip. So we're going to save some of the details for that. But tell everyone, let's set the stage, pun intended, with why you are here. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh. So I am playing the amazing legendary role of Al Ben in La Cage at the Muni. This is the first revival of La Cage in 40 years at the Muni, which is crazy. And I got to play this insanely iconic role.
Starring role.
Starring
role.
A dream role, truly.
Dream
role that I mean, it's an amazing role. And lo and behold, it all worked out with Disney and with Disney, my amazing job as the genie
in Aladdin on Broadway, longest running genie in Disney Aladdin, on Broadway history.
Thank you, HypeFriend.
HypeFriend.
But it's
shirts, merch coming soon.
Yes, yeah. Church merch coming soon. Ow. And so it all worked out. They let me come to do this short term. The Muni is an iconic theater in our country. If you've never been, if you don't know about it, it is in Forest Park, which Forest Park in St. Louis is the most insane, gorgeous. It's kind of like Central Park, but in St. Louis.
It's gorgeous.
It's absolutely amazing.
And it's outside. It's an amphitheater.
Outside. It's an amphitheater. It's an 11,000 seat amphitheater outside. It is one of the most historic, theaters in our country. And I think it might be the largest outdoor amphitheater in our country. So it has history. I mean, there's so much history. My husband came here as a kid. He saw a show and the free seats. There are free seats, which is incredible because they wanted to have theater be accessible to every single person, no matter where you came from, no matter who you were, that you could come and see a show. And that's been the history of theater. It is a history of the Muni here in St. Louis. There's a lot of history with the Muni. Generations upon generations bring their families. They all have been to the Muni for years and years and years and years. It's a very traditional. You sing the national anthem before the show.
I love that because I'm used to that for baseball games.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they're like, rise for the national anthem. And I'm like, all right, I'm here for it. It was incredible.
So that's why I'm here. And I also, the crazy connecting of St. Louis is also insane because I went to school here. I went to Webster University. Shout out to the Conservatory Theater Program at Webster University. But I got my BFA there at Webster here in St. Louis. Ashley's connected because David played here. They lived here. This was their home as well. My husband was born here. His family's here. It's crazy.
Such a small world. And you've done a couple different shows at the Muni, right?
I have. I did Shrek here. I was Donkey in Shrek. That was 11 years ago. So I haven't been back here since then.
My gosh.
And then in college, during, some of the summers, a lot of the big conservatories and musical theater programs around the country, a lot of the students in those shows come and audition to be in the ensemble of the Muni
and get their
equity
big
cards
deal.
in college, I was in the ensemble of Cinderella, of South Pacific with Ashley Brown, who was one of our girls.
Part of our
HypeFriend. Ashley Brown, Nick Adams. I could go on with like names of Broadway folks. Colin Donnell. We were all in the ensembles together, which is crazy, right? So it's a full circle. The Muni's is a part of my ether because it is like literally kind of where I feel like I learned a lot too. So that's why I'm here, which is crazy, and it all worked out that we got to be here together, which is insane. So
oh my gosh, and now you're starring in La Cage aux Folles.
Yes, in full drag.
Okay, well, cheers to that. And this will take us into
Ashley Bakes.
Okay, so we're in Michael's temporary apartment. Obviously, I was staying in a hotel, so my baking was limited, but that's not going to stop me from baking.
Definitely is not.
And I had to do a celebratory cake situation, and I've never made a mug cake before. So for those that don't know, if you just want to make a single cake, you can mix it up in a mug and bake it in the microwave. So that's what I did. Gluten-free, vegan, funfetti with white chocolate chips. Now, it actually smells pretty good.
It does.
When I pulled it out of the microwave, it smelled like cornbread. Which there is no corn flour in this, but
so we going for this now?
I think we're going for it. Oh, it's a little spongy, but not in a good way. Okay. Oh, you can't even like. Hold on. You can't even like. You can't even like cut into it. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Oh, wait. Literally.
You're going to need a knife to cut into this.
We going for it?
Yep, we're going for it. Uh-oh.
That is absolutely horrible. Oh. Wait. Oh.
It's chewy.
It's not only chewy, it is fully gummy. And
I'm crying. I'm literally crying.
Wait.
Oh my gosh, I gotta swallow it.
Oh God. Oh God. Ooh.
I mean, it kind of tastes like vanilla wafer. A chewy vanilla wafer.
It tastes like a gummy vanilla wafer that's been. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna just give a drink moment real quick. That was a choice.
You know what it is? It's the fact that it's gluten-free. I'm on a journey.
I'm literally. Let's just show it real quick again.
Gluten-free baking is so hard. It's so hard.
But you know what? The way I love you for coming in here and making us a vanilla sponge gummy cake, I still love you, and I'm
okay.
I'm
on a scale of 1 to 5 stars. What would it be?
1 to 5 stars. I'm gonna go maybe a 2, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. But that doesn't mean that does not take away my love for anything from you. 1.5.
So you're even more generous than I was going to give myself. I was going to give myself a 1 star, and it's only because the white chocolate chips they're living in that. Like,
oh my gosh.
At least I got a bite of a white chocolate chip, and it was good. But that was the only redeeming thing. Oh my gosh.
Well, there was Ashley. Thanks.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, well, wow. Okay.
That's a gripe. But let's get into our hypes and gripes. Oh my gosh. I'm going to master gluten-free baking. Just side note.
You are.
And you know what? Okay. I gotta say this. I know you're not a fan of oat flour. He literally almost like spit out his bubbles because I said the words oat flour. But oat flour like takes away like the gelatinous, the chewiness of it.
That's
gelatinous. I know. But it makes it like softer. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, less chewy. And I didn't use oat flour this time because I knew you didn't like it. But I'm going back to oat flour.
We might need some oat flour with that.
We need some oat flour. Okay. All right. Well, we got to keep this show moving.
All right. Let's get into the hypes and gripes of it all.
And I'm going to start with my hype.
Okay.
Because I have to hype you up for your starring role.
Oh my gosh.
And so let's see here. BroadwayWorld.com did a review. And I'm literally going to read part of the review. This amazing, glowing review of the whole show, which was incredible. So shout out to the entire cast and crew. It was incredible. But I'm going to read this quote. So remember your college self who was in the ensemble in the Muni.
Yes.
Now, fast forward to now. I want you to take in this couple sentences from the review. It says, Scott steps into Muni legendary status himself with an Act 1 closer, I am what I am. It's on the shirt. He has a Jennifer Holliday Dreamgirls moment when his hurt floods forth in an anthemic. Okay, with an anthemic show-stopping moment. It is a performance that is going to be talked about for decades to come. Can we take in this moment? Literally, it says you have stepped into legendary Muni status, and people are going to be talking about your performance for decades to come. That is my hype. Michael.
Oh my, well,
that's incredible.
That's a very kind review, and the little Michael James Scott and me doesn't believe where I got to do that and what that actually meant to be able to get to do this role and do it here, and what it represents on so many levels. It's an incredible challenge to be able to do a role where you get to fully like allow yourself to go to places that are scary, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of just like the inner demons or the inner like words that we get into our heads that might make us not feel like our best or our, you know. But this role, you really have to explore that. You really have to go there, and you really have to allow yourself as an actor to push yourself in there. And that is a different place for me because I'm so used to being in a place that's just more of a show, man, right? A show kind of a thing. And this is really, forces me to unmask a lot of that. And it has been an incredibly beautiful learning, challenge, growth lesson that I am beyond grateful for. So
Well, I'm so grateful I got to witness it. And after the show, I watched your amazing artistic director.
Oh, Mike Isaacson. Shout out to Mike Isaacson of the Muni, the Tony winning.
Yes.
Because this year the Muni won the Special Regional Theater Award, a Tony Award this year, which is incredible. So Mike Isaacson and the incredible team there they are beyond.
Well, I got to witness him give you your flowers, literally like verbal flowers. He was complimenting you after the show. And it was the most beautiful, incredible compliment that was so well deserved. But to witness that was really special. I was such a proud hype friend, like such a proud hype friend. So that is my hype. What about your hype?
Oh, well, I mean, my hype is really this village here in St. Louis at the Muni. They are, I mean, it's like the most well-oiled machine, full of love and light and joy and compassion. And people don't know how much it takes to put on a production like this. I mean, it is 10 days of rehearsal and then you do the show, and it's absolutely insane. So to be able to sort of do that with love is like, it's like the ultimate hype community around each other, all hyping each other up, all supporting, all just making sure you have everything you need. It's just incredible. And everyone's looking out for each other on so many levels. So that to me has been the most special thing, experiencing that, seeing that, being a part of that, and really just allowing myself to just be exactly.
Talk about a hype hood.
It's a hype hood. The Muni is a hype hood, so I'm hyping up the amazing Muni and all of that. And I mean, and also hyping up the fact that you all came to the show. That was really insanely special and so beautiful. And my family were here the next night. I mean, I had family flying in. They were here. They're actually here helping us right now.
Yes.
That's how we do. Like, it's like crazy. So we literally have my brother and sister-in-law, like, shout out to Michael and Nicole out here, like literally helping while Jeremy's away, while David's away. We have a team. It takes a village, like, and then we have our amazing team, normal team across the country. It's amazing. So anyway, so that's my hype. Oh gosh, I don't even want to go into a gripe because I feel like it's such a...
You have a good gripe. So normally Michael and I don't tell each other our hypes and gripes, but we were talking about this and I'm loving your gripe. I think you got to share it.
This is a public service announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, hype hood community, everyone. When I tell you high heels for women, for anybody who wears them, because at this point, I am still shocked at what your body has to do to wear high heels and actually keep it together. It is literally insane. I wear high heels for the whole show, most of the show. I'm in and out of these ridiculous heels. To have to dance, to have to redistribute your weight, to have to figure out balance, figure out how to hold your body, keep it together, how your feet don't turn around and slap you. Like, I mean, I'm literally,
you're mad at it.
I am mad. And I am like, and all the women in my life, like, I think they're all just like,
yep. Welcome to the club.
To think about the fact that during the Herb Universe fashion show, you're in like the most ridiculous high heels, walking around and then standing and meeting like, amazing fans in the community who've come to the show and all the things, and you're standing there for literal hours. I am like, I could go on and on how unbelievable this is. But when I think about the girls, the women who I've starred opposite in the ensemble, as swings, as leading ladies, as standbys, as co-hosts, like all the things, I literally just tip my heel to you and say, congratulations. Because that is insane. And anybody who doesn't think it is, try it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, for those that don't know, because I had never seen La Cage, and shockingly, I've never seen the movie Birdcage. So I didn't know anything about the show going in. And so Michael's character, Alben, and then Zaza,
yes,
you know.
Zaza is the drag queen.
So Michael has never done drag before, and so it's a whole new world in this show, a whole new world. Bring it back to Disney. But Michael has never really walked in heels before, and heels are the worst. Literally the worst. And, you know, speaking of the Her Universe fashion show, so our beloved designer, Andrew, who we love, Andrew tells me every year, I'm like, Andrew, I think I'm just going to do a 2-inch heel this year. And he gets so mad at me, and he's like, well, Ashley, you're just going to sacrifice your look for a shorter heel. And so, of course, I walk in 4 to 6 inch heels every fashion show. And this year, those dresses weighed 45 pounds each in 4-inch platform heels. They're literally the worst.
The worst. I'm getting like, I'm so mad. I'm like
getting angry.
I'm just like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a gripe. It's a good gripe.
Oh my God.
It's
my God.
That
just
gripe.
Took me out. That just took me back out. Like I'm out. What is your gripe?
Okay. So my gripe. So I just got off of the Disney Vacation Club member cruise, which you were missed. Pretty much our whole Hype Hood was there, our Disney family.
Oh,
you know, Brett Iwan, Andrew Levitt, Josh Strickland, Ashley Brown, you know, like so many of our you know, HypeFriend community and neighborhood and soon to be. I had the amazing opportunity to host the deck party, and if you've been on a Disney cruise before, like the deck party is just amazing. It's the entire ship goes up to deck 11, and they have many deck parties. They have the sail away deck party, they have Pirates Night. Well, Andrew and I got to host, you know, Dancing on the Deck, 80s and 90s. So it's a full out 80s and 90s party.
Oh my God, literally my dream, my heaven.
Yes. And we had to learn a dance. So we had to learn a dance. We had to learn the eye-to-eye dance from the Goofy movie. Now,
I saw that post.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
But when I tell you that I really have not danced since high school, and when I tell you that I pulled a muscle, I literally pulled a muscle trying to dance. But gosh darn it, as my Southern mom says, no pain, no gain. I just pushed through that pulled muscle, and Andrew and I learned the dance, and it was so hard. But by the end of the cruise, we learned it. But here's my gripe, is that, you know, as adults, you know, we need to normalize extracurricular activities for adults, because as we become adults, you know, it becomes all about our career, and everyone says, what's your dream? And, you know, the expectation is that your career has to be your dream. But you know what? Sometimes your career is just a way to make money. Like, that is the truth. Like, not everyone can be doing their dream as their career. And we all need to make money to, you know, afford a lifestyle. But we need to normalize the fact that, you know what? Your dream can just be an extracurricular activity. It can just be one of your passions. And so, but I feel like something happens when we become adults. We don't make any time to do things other than our career. And so what this Dancing on the Deck unlocked for me is that I miss dancing. Like, I felt such a sense of accomplishment once I learned this dance. And it made me want to do it again and again. And, you know, obviously I got to sing again at the Her Universe fashion show.
Did. Wicked.
And Wicked.
That small little number.
I begrudgingly did it because I was so nervous. And so I've had to sing, I've had to dance, 2 things that I really haven't done since high school, and I loved it. And so my gripe is that we kind of move away from our passions. It's like we encourage it as kids. It's like, it's encouraged. What's your extracurricular activity? But as adults, it becomes your career, and then you go home and sleep. and then your career, and then you go home and sleep. And so let's normalize extracurricular activities for adults. If you want to dance, dance. If you want to sing, sing. If you want to bake, bake.
I don't know about that bake, but but yes, bake.
Yes. So that's my gripe. Even though I pulled a muscle, because I gave up on dancing. And so I want to dance more. And so let's hype up adults doing extracurriculars.
I want to dance with somebody.
Yes. I want to feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I want to dance with somebody.
Come on, singer. I love that.
Right.
But cheers to that.
Hypes
Cheers to
and
that.
gripes.
Boom.
All right.
So let's get into the good gossip.
Yes. So good gossip.
Good gossip.
Yeah, Delilah. We're going to manifest her coming on.
She's coming.
Okay, so good gossip. We also talked about this ahead of time because I asked you if I could share this story.
Oh, yes.
But I think it's really important that we share this. So here you are, starring in Lacage at the Muni.
Yes.
You're a Broadway superstar. I know you don't say that about yourself, but I can say it as your hype friend. People probably think that you just sit back and you wait for your phone to ring. And when it rings, you just answer the call and be like, yes, of course I'll star in the Muni. I think that's what people think happens. And that's not what happened here. Yes, eventually you were offered the role, but you took a very important first step. And you reached out to the artistic director and you expressed interest in this role because it was a dream role for you. So I want you to share the story. And the reason I want you to share this story is because I think we need to normalize also being your own hype friend.
Say that again.
Yes. So we're doing a podcast talking about being a hype friend for others.
Yes.
But in this case, you were your own hype friend. We need to normalize being your own hype friend. So Michael, share with our community how you were your own hype friend and you actually kind of put it out in the universe that you wanted to play this role.
Yeah. So it first started with, honestly, my husband and I, Jeremy, talking about just like roles that I would want to play and like, what that would be. And Lacage came up and we talked about it and it was just sort of like, it was a thing in our world. We watched the Birdcage. It came up like, we're like, oh, we should watch that again. And then lo and behold, we see the announcement of the Muni season that they are doing Lacage this summer. This was last year. They're doing Lacage. And we were like, that is crazy because they have not done it for 40 years. And there's, yes, right? So we're like, huh. So I give credit to my husband because he was like, well, you should reach out. And I honestly first was like, oh, I don't know. And then I thought, Michael, reach out. Like,
why not?
Why not? Like, put yourself out there. And so I sent a message. I happen to, know the artistic director and love him dearly. And he's been such a beautiful supporter of me and a beautiful supporter of many, many artists. And I just said, hey, it's MJS, sending you love, hope all is well. But I see that you all are doing Lacage. I'm putting this out there. I think you found your Aben.
I love it.
I just put it out there. And, listen, you never know what happens with that stuff. And it's just sort of a risk that you take and you just do it and you move on, which is kind of what I did.
Yeah.
And I could, Ashley, the universe, God, Allah, Buddha, all that, whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, because I believe in a higher power for me that said this was what needed to be, and it worked out. And I got a phone call giving me an offer to come play Al Ben, the first Black Al Ben, paired with the first Black George, and the first Black family. So the entire family is Black. It is the first of its kind. We're making history with it, which is unbelievable. To see, it's about a family, right? It's just about a family. So the connecting of the family and just sort of see what that is has been remarkable and historic on the Muni stage. And that was because it started with a reach out and just doing something for yourself, and putting yourself first and seeing what happens. And it came to life, and I am beyond grateful that I did it and that I took the risk, because you never know, what will happen when you just jump and you start to fly.
Yeah. You have to throw it out into the universe.
You have to throw it out there. And that's what happened. So I
love it.
That's some good gossip.
Yes, it is. It is. You have to ask yourself the question, why not me?
Yeah.
And you did that. And I'm so proud of you. And that is the good gossip. And thank you for sharing that story. So, Michael, I am so excited about our guest today.
Yes, me too. I mean, you've talked about them for so long, and I feel like I know them, but I don't yet. So I'm really excited that they're here, and I love that they agreed to come on to the podcast and talk.
Yes.
To us.
So, okay.
So what's going on? So
a little introduction.
Yes.
So I call them the Ryans. We have William Ryan Key and Ryan Mendez. So they created Jeddah together.
Yes.
We're going to get into that. But most people know them from the band Yellowcard.
Yes.
And it was just announced, they're big Disney fans. They are two of the composers on Disney Starlight, Dream the Night Away, the new nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World.
Excuse me?
Yes. And we're also going to hype them up because they have a brand new Yellowcard album called Better Days that's coming out on October 10th.
Yes.
So let's give a huge HypeFriend welcome to William Ryan Key and Ryan Mendez. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. Man,
hello there.
It's impossible to not be hyped after listening to you guys talk. So you're doing your job.
I'm drinking coffee, and all that energy is coming at me. I'm starting this day right.
Yep.
Well, we feel the same. I was listening to your song, your new hit song, that's literally like, what, as of today, number 4 on the charts? Better Days?
We woke up this morning and we were 7 plays off of number 3. What? 7 spins off number 3.
What?
So it's still every week we think it's been a good run. It's just, it's full on PTSD from years of peaks and valleys in the band and being overpromised and underdelivered and all the things that happen in the music business. And that's not to say that we haven't had an amazing success and some amazing opportunities in our career, but we have certainly been, we've been told this is going to be the thing and it's all going to happen. And then it literally just nothing actually happens. And so I think we look at this every week and we're like, man, that was fun. Can't believe we got to 10. Good times, guys. And then the next week it's 5. And we're like, we're in the top 5, but that was all. Man, we really made it this far. And then again, we wake up this morning and we're barely off number 3 already. So we've never had a number 1 single. I'm not counting on it, as you can tell.
Well, why'd you say that?
No, because I'm talking to Ashley Eckstein and she will manifest.
That's true.
It to happen.
That's true.
She will.
That's true.
That's why I'm saying it.
Well, I hope y'all are taking it in. I hope you're taking in the love and
we are.
Good. And because you deserve it, all those things. And sometimes we don't do that. Like we kind of move on. But this is huge. This is not, this is a big thing. This doesn't just happen.
And you just made our day better by being here with us. And I have to say, especially when it's like someone's birthday, I always say, I hope this is the beginning of your best year yet. And, I love the fact that, you're saying this after 20 years. I think we always have to have hope that the best is yet to come. And Ryan, I don't want to jump ahead because I'm about to ask you, we're about to dive into how we became friends. But you know, I'll never forget the dinner we had together at Disney. It was you, me, and my husband, and you were telling us about the past 20 years, and you were telling us about some of your really hard times, and your hopes for the future, and your hopes were uncertain for the future, and I just remember sitting there being like, but you know what, like, big things are coming. You know, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you both for just, you know, diving back in and being like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and now you're doing all the things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So exciting. Well, wait, okay, so you kind of just said, you know, a little bit of it, but how did this connect happen? Like, what is happening?
This is the craziest story.
And I know Ashley Eckstein has some crazy, like, there is some crazy connecting stories. So I'm like, I'm like, what's happening? What's going on?
So, okay, I'm going to set up a little tease, and then Ryan, I want you to like kind of share, because I think you saw me first because I was in Head to Toe Star Wars. So just to set the stage, I'm the most uncool person when it comes to music. Like, literally so uncool.
Unknowledgeable is not the same thing as uncool.
Agreed.
You're very cool. You're very cool.
Well,
very cool.
Thank you. Okay, unknowledgeable. I've literally been to like 6 concerts in my entire life. 2 of them being New Kids on the Block.
Oh, well.
Okay. All right.
Several years ago, I sold her universe to Hot Topic, which was a great thing. But that also meant that I had to go work at the Hot Topic offices. And, you know, Hot Topic's known for music.
Yeah.
Well, the music team there thinks it's hysterical that I know nothing about music. And they play music on loop. And one of the songs on loop is Ocean Avenue. So I know that song because I always heard it. So fast forward to when I meet Ryan, and we'll dive into this, but now the head of music and production at Hot Topic, our friend Rusty, shout out, thinks it's hilarious because now I can be like, I know the band. Ryan, I think you saw me first. We were at the airport, and then what happens next?
Yeah, so I had moved to LA from Nashville. I'd been in Nashville for a while, and I had moved back to LA primarily to be close to my friend Ryan Mendez, who is here with us today, because Ryan and I are working really hard outside of Yellowcard to try and take our project Jeddah as far as we can in terms of scoring for film and television.
I'm going to stop you, Ryan, and say, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
Oh, well,
Nailed it. Nailed it.
I have no comeback for that. You're right. I'm looking at Yoda right now, my little sideshow Yoda statue right now, and I'm realizing I need to be more mindful of that. So I had moved back to LA. It didn't last very long because the pandemic hit and I couldn't tour or play music or do anything. So I kind of tucked tail and went back east again. While I was in LA, I didn't have Yellowcard. Yellowcard broke up at the very beginning of 2017, and it was at the time it felt very permanent. We never imagined we'd be here talking about a top 5 song for Yellowcard again. We had all kind of started to figure out what we were doing with our lives outside of Yellowcard. So I was flying all over the country doing events, appearing, DJing, doing whatever I could to just make ends meet and get by without the career I had known for 20 years at that point, and so I'm flying from LA to Orlando to do 3 kind of DJ appearances at these like emo rock parties in Florida. And I'm walking down the jet bridge, and in front of me is a 5 foot something blonde woman in head to toe Star Wars gear, and like very clean, very cool Star Wars. She says she's uncool, but very cool Star Wars gear. It was like a half black, half white sweatsuit thing, and it was just, I was like, that's interesting. And then I get on the plane, and we're sitting next to each other, and
next to each other,
right next to each other.
And so she's window, I'm aisle, and I'm putting my bags away, and the whole time I'm thinking she's gonna see this tattoo on my arm, and I'm gonna feel. I mean, this is either gonna be really weird, or we're not gonna. I don't know. We're gonna talk. She's not. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I sit down and I can't remember if you said something about my tattoo or something, or if I was like, so Star Wars, huh?
After we were settled and sitting there, you said, I'm so sorry, but I have to say this. Literally just minutes ago, we just posted our first episode for a Star Wars podcast we're doing.
That's right.
And you said, and here you are wearing head to toe Star Wars. And I just have to say, I think that's a sign. And you didn't know who I was. You had no idea that I was the voice of Ahsoka. But you just thought that I was some girl wearing Star Wars, and you had just launched a Star Wars podcast. And you're like, wow, this is like the Force, So we started talking, and I didn't tell you that I was Ahsoka, but I also didn't know that you were in Yellowcard.
Well, we started talking, and I was just like I'm doing now. I was just word vomiting, just kept talking about the band, and you just kept asking more questions, and I kind of finally got to a point. And then back up to the podcast, that was kind of the most miraculous thing about it was my friend Adam Russell and I started a podcast called Thank the Maker, and the day that I met Ashley was the first episode aired. The first episode went out into the world, and at the time it was a very relaxed kind of, we'll just see where this goes. It's really evolved into quite a beast of a podcast over the last 5 years. But that was the very first day, so I was very much like, this is really interesting that I'm sitting next to someone else who is clearly as big of a fan of Star Wars as I am on this day for a 5-hour flight. And so finally I got to a point where I was like, okay, enough about me. Yep, I'm in a band, rock and roll. What do you do? And you definitely said something like, I don't normally like tell people. I kind of keep it close to the chest or something. But obviously, you need to know or something. But
well, it was more the fact that I realized,
you need to know.
When you let something go long enough, and then I was more like, oh wow, now I've made this awkward, because we were like talking about Star Wars, and I'm like, when do I break it to him that I'm actually in Star Wars?
Yeah. When do I be like, hey, so
yes. So that's what I was like dealing with, of like, okay, when do I tell him? So yeah, eventually I just was like, okay, I guess I got to just say it. And I remember you freaking out. And then that's when you showed me your tattoos. And I just thought it was so cool. I mean, I was amazed, but you started telling me about Yellowcard and that the band had broken up, and now that y'all know me so well, I talk about dreams a lot and what's next and what do you want to do. And you were saying, I'm working with my friend Ryan. We're doing this new thing called Jetta, and we want to be composers. Like, we really want to be composers for film and television, but we really haven't done it. We kind of need somebody to give us a chance. So here's what you didn't know at the time is I had just had a meeting. I've been working on this project for Disney for many, many years, obviously since 2019. And the meeting I had just had, they said, well, we're going to need composers because we need original music for this project. And I remember my co-creator being like, so, we're going to have to find someone who can do the composing. I kid you not. And then I'm sitting next to Ryan. So Ryan, you had just started the Star Wars podcast. I had just had a meeting about how I needed composers. And I remember, everything with Disney is under strict NDA. So I couldn't really say anything, but I just said, well, interesting. I have a new project I'm working on and I might need composers, and let's stay in touch. The flight ended and we exchanged Instagram handles. We didn't even exchange numbers at that point.
No.
We just exchanged Instagram handles. And I think we were both trying to play it cool.
Yeah, I don't think I was in a place where I was going to be like, so can I get your number?
Just a quick side note. What was not playing it cool was the text message I received from him the moment that he landed. That text message was not playing it cool. That text message was like, oh my gosh, you will not believe what just happened on this flight.
So I went home to Florida for literally 48 hours and I had to go back to LA. He was out there for the emo nights and had to go right back to LA. So we get on our flight back to LA 2 days later, and all of a sudden I'm putting away my stuff. In the row right in front of me is Ryan Key.
Yeah, we were one seat away. So then it was like, okay, this is
It was meant to be.
Oh,
There's the force is very much working here.
Yes, the
friendship born.
No, you're gonna work together. So Ryan and I became friends, and I'm very excited to say that we manifested, and we're going to be working on this new project for Disney. I can't say much more about it. We'll do a future episode about it. But enter Ryan Mendez. That is how I met Mendez, which we've started to say Ryan and then Mendez or we call them the Ryans.
And you became friends. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so my old band before I joined Yellowcard, my band was called Staring Back. We were from Santa Barbara, California, where I grew up. And so we were in Santa Barbara, and Yellowcard, before Ryan Key was in the band, they had another singer. They came to Santa Barbara from Florida to try to get signed to the label that my band was on, the local label in Santa Barbara. And that's how I first met Sean, our violinist, but Ryan was not in the band yet. They then returned back to Florida. We had become friends while they were here, et cetera. And we said, hey, we want to go out to Florida and play some shows. We had never been outside of California. So the guys in Yellowcard were like, come out here and play some shows with us. And so we did. And when we first got there, Ryan had just joined the band. So he was like the new singer. And when they first came to Santa Barbara, their sound was a lot different. The other singer sounded, a good deal different. The music was a lot different. When Ryan joined, it was like whole new band. I remember playing shows with them, and I called the label and I said, hey, you want to check out the new stuff? The new singer is like night and day. The songs are just different, a lot more accessible. So we then toured around Florida together. And so me meeting him was, hey, here's the new singer of this band that I already knew beforehand. And we just kept in touch over the years. And then when they moved out to California, continue to keep in touch. They really were on the way up. Their trajectory was very, very, very clearly up. And my band was just kind of not really doing very much. And so I kind of just watched them really start climbing the mountain. They got signed to a major label. They did Ocean Avenue. Things really started blowing up, and I was just kind of friends with them the whole time. And then in 2005, they needed somebody to, at the time it was going to be filling in for their guitarist. And then it ended up being permanent, but they called me because they were like, hey, we might have an opportunity for you to come play some shows with us. And I'd already been friends with them for years. And so it felt supernatural. I already knew all the songs well. And now we're here. That's that.
It's funny though. It's funny. Our friendship is interesting because it's at this point in our life it's the kind of bond and friendship that songs are written about, and films are made about. And back then I was on my own path, really dealing with this climb up the mountain, as Ryan said, and I wasn't dealing with it very well. We found a lot of success very fast, and we were young, and I was really insecure, I think, about what my place in it all was, and going from being a garage band vocalist to performing on the Video Music Awards in a 2-year period with no vocal training and no understanding of how to be in this big band. I really I struggled a lot personally and emotionally, and I was really reactive. So we weren't really friends. Like, even when you joined the band in 2005, we weren't enemies or did not like each other, but we didn't share experiences together. It was kind of like it was somewhat transactional in the way of, like, I would show up, do the show, and then I kind of crawled back into my hole. I had like a whole friend group that was outside of the band. I was just really on my own path. And so the fact that over the next few years, Ryan joined the band in 2005, and over the next few years, for me, it was personally, for me, realizing what an amazing human being he was and how essential he could be to kind of pulling me out of the dark and helping me be a better person myself, I think is what really inspired me to say, okay, you need to find out how to be friends with this person. You need to find out how to have this person be in your life for real.
I actually don't know this about y'all's story. I only see now, because we met, in 2019. and I've only seen how supportive you two are, truly how much you love each other. Like, and you know, when I think of the word hype friend, you two really represent that.
Which
you know,
you've said to me.
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
I mean, Ryan Key, like, you've always told me, like, oh, wait till you meet Mendez. Like, he's just incredible. He's brilliant. He's this. And Mendez, you've said the same thing about, you know, Ryan Key. And it's just the two of you support each other on such a level of lifting each other up. I'm fascinated by this. So when did you really become friends, and how have you kind of gone on this journey together, which clearly has been full of ups and downs?
I would say, honestly, we probably really started connecting on a deeper level when we took the first hiatus in starting in 2008.
But during Paper Walls, too,
During
during the
Paper
making of
Walls,
that
for
album.
sure. That was the first record that I made with the band after I had joined. And so the process of making that album was the first time that me and the rest of the band, so obviously me and him as well, were working together creatively. So that was a really good experience, I think, for everyone. I mean, we really are happy with that record, and the experience was really good. And we definitely like bonded for sure, and like see a lot of musical things exactly the same way. And I think we were like, okay, yeah, like we work super well together. And so that kind of started us really kind of getting to know each other better, because I toured with them for a year and a half before we made this record. And, you know, we didn't really connect that much because he actually was kind of, you know, like you said, like he wasn't really around as much other than to play the shows. Yeah. Because I think it was just such a whirlwind then. It was just, it was crazy.
What I love about this, because, you know, we actually were talking a little about this earlier about being a hype friend for yourself first in order to be a, you know, hype friend to someone else. And you, Ryan Key, it sounds like you needed to figure out what was going to, there was, which thank you for sharing, because that is going to, I think, really resonate with a lot of our community about there, just figuring out who you are, right? And like all those things, and being honest about it. But you know, you took the time to sort of figure that out, and then you called up, you know, your old friend, Mendez, and it seems like that sort of like the real friendship, as you're saying, like sort of really blossom into this partnership that is what Ashley knows of today, and what we've seen and what we think of as the Ryans.
But sometimes, and this is what a hype friend is too, because we all lose our way. I mean, it's unrealistic to say that we always know where we're going, because we don't. Everyone loses their way at some point, and we need those hype friends to pull us out and say, no, you got this. We're going to put you back on the path and just keep going. You know, Michael, you've done that for me many ways. And actually both Ryans, you've done that for me, because you both know this project that we've been working on together has taken what feels like a lifetime. And there's been times where even I've been, you know, really down about it. And both of you are like, no, I believe in it. So, I love that. I love that. So I want to get back to Jetta in a minute, but let's finish talking about Yellowcard, because now, fast forward all these years later, you have another album coming out on October 10th. So tell us about Better Days. And we're so excited about it.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start, because it's so
you stumped them.
It's so unbelievable. But you know, I Mendez deserves a whole lot of praise and credit for where we are with this record, because when we came back and played a show in 2022 after, what was that, almost 6 years away, for real, 5.5, 6 years, and that was kind of the test subject. You know, will this work? Can we heal wounds? Can we come together and try to be a band again? You know, we stepped away from the band for a lot of reasons: personal conflict, people kind of losing interest in the band. We weren't selling as many tickets as we, you know, would have liked to have been. And is it worth it to be away from our families for 8 months a year or 9 months a year, based on, you know, how the living that we were making at the time? So it just felt like it had run its course and it was time to step away. So what's going to make this time different if we do it? Well, we went out and played this show in Chicago, Riot Fest, in 2022, And I don't have an actual number, but there were tens of thousands of people watching our band play for the first time in more than half a decade. And we
were told 40,000. That's what we were told.
40,000.
Wow.
Something like that.
Wow.
That's not our number. That's what we were told.
Yeah. And
wow.
The show was electric, and
absolutely ridiculous.
The connection between the four of us on stage was pretty profound. And after again years of really feeling disconnected from each other as a band, not so much Ryan and I obviously, but just bands are hard. it's a hard business to be in with when you strip away the mechanics of it and only look at the personal relationships within it. It kind of those have to be healthy for a band to be healthy, you know. And when they become unhealthy, it's really hard to maintain. So after that show, it was, what do we do next, you know? And we recorded an EP of 5 songs that we put out in 2023. And that was kind of a test subject as well. We self-produced it. Ryan and I did most of the work as far as recording and putting it together. And it was fun, and fans were excited. There's some new Yellowcard music, but it didn't move the needle. It was kind of like any new music we had put out for the last many years, where it just, we work so hard and we pour ourselves into this, but it's you know, it's not Ocean Avenue in whatever way it needs to be. And so it kind of just washes out to sea, and it's on to the next one. And so that kind of happened with the EP, but the difference was in 2023, the summer of that year, we were doing the biggest, we ended up doing the biggest tour we've ever done in terms of attendance in our career. We had to grow up real fast and learn how to be an amphitheater band overnight and put on a show worthy of, you know, the size and scope of that. But we still didn't have any plans to make a record. We still were like, do we call it after this? Because this is amazing. And we never want to backslide again into the way we felt in 2015 when we made the call to start to, you know, wrap things up. And so the tour was so amazing, and I think we were so energized, and the fan base was so energized that the next step was to talk about making a full-length album again.
It's very obvious though that your friendships, like
yes.
in terms of like the connection, the like familiarity, like all those things, to this point in your lives and your careers and all to get to this point, I mean, the authentic friendship that you needed to have to be able to feel good with each other, to be able to sort of like trust, all of those things, to be able to come in together and now do this. I mean, I feel like that's friendship.
So Mendez, I mean, what has this been like for you? I just feel like this has to be completely surreal, because I know, you know, having met, you know, you and your wife, and we'll get into that in a minute, because I got to meet all your families with Disney Starlight, but this has just completely turned your life around. You've made so many big life changes, and it's such an exciting time for you all.
Yeah, it's been very, very surreal, and just the fact that we have taken such a long time off and never thought we were going to come back. And, you know, when we say that, I think a lot of people don't believe it. They're like, oh, yeah, right. You guys knew you were going to come back. Because a lot of artists do that. They're like, oh, we're breaking up, but they know they're going to try to come back in a few years. You know, that was not the case with us. So it was genuinely done. And so the fact that this is now happening again at this level, with all of this stuff happening, with good friends of ours from way back, it's just the most surreal full circle stuff going. And I think we're trying to take it all in. I know you guys had mentioned that at the beginning, you know, take it all in. And it's like, it's actually really difficult to do that a lot of times. Like some stuff is like so big and so impactful that it's like, I don't know how to take this in. I have to actively think about it, you know?
What is it like to break up? You know, friendship breakups is a whole separate episode. But did you mourn?
There's not a different word for it. I always wish there was, but it was really dark. It was, everything was so uncertain. And, you know, I'll speak for myself, being at the time, almost 20 years, you know, it was 16 and a half years or whatever it was. That was my entire identity. It's like you know, it's what I had known. And there's this feeling of not having any other skills in life. of, nothing I can do with the skills I have will ever amount to what I did with the band, because the band was such a force and such a, it had lost steam in the end, but that doesn't mean that over the course of its life, it wasn't this really huge, impactful thing. And so I spent time mourning. And then in 2018, I don't know what happened or what it was, but something clicked, and I got out of bed and I said, all right, you're done. You're done feeling sorry for yourself, and you're done worrying about Yellowcard ever again. Go make some music. And that led to Jetta recording our first pieces of music. I put out three EPs of music, like 5 songs each time. So an album and a half of my own music that I released from 2018 to 2020. And a full-length Jetta album we ended up making in 2021. Well, it took us 3 years to finish it, but we finished it in 2021, and put it out. So there was a moment where the mourning ended, and but Yellowcard, that was this like clarity. Yellowcard's not coming back. Get over it. Move on. And so when it did come back, and it's come back at at the scale that it's come back, it's just I don't know. It's hard to get your head around.
Earlier on in the episode, I talked about, we talked about hypes and gripes, and one of my gripes was normalizing kind of doing things that bring us joy, but it's not necessarily what we do for a paycheck. And Ryan, you and I talked about this. I was amazed how after the band broke up, you were very open about how you had to do other things to make ends meet, to provide for your family or to get a paycheck. And I love that the two of you formed Jetta simply to just to fulfill your passion.
Yeah.
To
That's it.
Making music.
Yep.
It was just to create. That's it. There was never any thought that it would provide any type of, career or like professionally that we would be making a living. It was solely out of our love of making music, and I think most importantly, making music together. Could have been any kind of music.
I'm like on the verge of tears this whole episode.
That's pretty powerful. That's so powerful, because look at what's happened. That is incredible.
And I feel like I've had a front row seat the past couple years to seeing your friendship, the two of you. It's a genuine love. It's a brotherhood, and the utmost respect that the two of you have for each other. I want to fast forward now, since we're talking about Jetta, and this is where I feel the tears coming on, because I just got to witness the two of you watching the new Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom, opening night. You were with your families, and Ryan Key, when we first met on that flight, one of the things we bonded over was our love of Disney. And, since then we've gone to Disney many times together. So to be there that night, to watch the two of you with your families, listen to this parade where you were two of the composers for literally the very dream that you told me. And you said, I wish someone would give us a chance. You made a wish. This is all about making wishes. You made a wish, and here you are, one of your first big projects. You're two of the composers for literally one of the parades that's going to be a parade for a generation of fans. Can we just sit with that for a moment?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Not only did you help compose this parade, but you literally knocked it out of the park. You reimagined some of these iconic Disney songs. Tell us about it. Tell us about from the moment you got the call to working on it together and just making this dream come true.
My Star Wars podcast that I've been a part of for 5 years now has an event that they started. I'm not involved in actually like planning and putting on the event, but it's in the world of what we do in the Yellowcard world of kind of the emo night rock party thing. But they've developed this really cool Star Wars centric rock and roll party for people at Comic Cons to attend. It's called Mosh Isley, and it's just a really fun. Everyone dresses to the nines in like punk inspired Star Wars cosplay and brings their lightsabers and sings My Chemical Romance at the top of their lungs. With we've had a fully functioning 3PO in costume on stage. We the actual costumers that come out and provide for the shows. It's really grown into an amazing thing. MegaCon here in Orlando last year, there was a Mosh Isley event, and I went to kind of guest DJ at the event, and I was standing backstage, and I'm in full cosplay, head to toe, sweating profusely, in this venue in Kissimmee, Florida. And when I say backstage, it was like a storage closet with a bathroom. It was not. It's like a venue that Ryan and I would have played in when we were 22 years old. So I'm standing there, and gentleman introduces himself to me and says he's from Jacksonville, Florida, which is where I grew up, where Yellowcard is originally from, and kind of like, I recognize you from Yellowcard. My name is Roger. I'm from Jacksonville. We got to talking, and turns out we both went to the same high school. He was 5 or 6 years ahead of me, but we got to talking about that and just Jacksonville and the hometown and music, and found out we kind of both had the same story of going to university and dropping out to just do music our own way, and it was pretty surreal how much we had in common, and led us similarly to our conversation on the plane. Ashley led us to talking about, well, what do you got going on outside of Yellowcard? And I explained to him what Jeddah was and that we were trying to score. I gave him some art. He was really interested in it, and so I gave him some artists that we're sort of inspired by, and gave him our link to our Spotify page to listen to music. And he we exchanged numbers, and he had told me that he was, I don't know what his exact title is, but he's some version of the head of live entertainment for parks and cruises here in Florida. So if there is a musical element to a show, so yeah, because it's not head of live entertainment because he's not in charge of the actors, but whatever executive producing title there is for all of the music in the parks and cruises. So any note of music you hear on a boat or in a park, he is the guy who's putting together the players, where it's being recorded, songwriters if needed. He plays on them himself. He's an insanely talented musician, guitarist. Anyway, so he told me that, and I told him we wanted to get into scoring and blah, blah, blah. So we exchanged numbers, and 2 or 3 weeks later, a month later, maybe, I don't remember how long it was exactly, but he texted me and said, "Hey, I have something I want to show you and Ryan," because I told him about Mendez, obviously, and could you guys both sign an NDA and then we can get on a call? And I'm like, okay, that sounds really cool. I mean, NDA just sounds cool. It sounds like, I'm gonna know something no one else knows. And so we did.
It must be important.
Yeah, it must be important. We did. We got on the call, and I think, Ryan, you should take it from here because you actually recognized the piece of music before I did. When he played it for us, you just knew immediately.
His approach was like, he was like, "I'm going to play you some music, and I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I'm going to see if you recognize what it is." And so he plays this piece of music, and immediately we both look at each other. We're like, "We know what this is, right?" And we were sitting there thinking about it. We're like, okay, because I definitely recognize it, but I hadn't heard it in multiple decades. And you said what you thought it was, and he's like, "Is this the Electric Light Parade song?" And I was like, "That's absolutely what it is." Because I was like, "Oh, I totally know the song, but like, what is it? I haven't heard it in decades." And it was the original song from the Main Street Electrical Parade at Disneyland, Electric Light Parade at Walt Disney World. And he was like, "Yeah." And he basically started talking to us about how Disney is going to be doing a new version, an updated modern version of the parade, because it's going to be 10 years since it officially ended, or something like some sort of time period like that, where they wanted to start a new version of it. And he had this whole vision for how they wanted to approach the music. And he was like, "I have this vision where I want electronic music with orchestral music together. redoing these iconic Disney songs. And when he said those two things, I was like, oh, you mean like Daft Punk and Hans Zimmer and the Tron Legacy movie, which is absolutely legendary film and soundtrack if you've ever heard it. And he was like, yes, exactly like that, but a little more Disney, you know.
Yeah.
And so
a little more pixie dust on it than
a little more pixie dust on it, you know. That score is a little darker, but you know, same concept. Like they did the electronic bass, put some orchestra with it. Amazing collaboration if it's done right. And so that was just like immediate, you know, influence in our heads. And so we talked on this call about just, you know, what it would be like and the vision, and it felt ambitious but also achievable. And he was saying, you know, they had just met, and he, you know, Key was telling him about our electronic project and this, you know, the force at work all throughout all of this, it seems, you know. Yeah. That's kind of that's kind of how it feels. And so
I feel like the two of you, you're truly like yin and yang, I feel like at times.
Yes.
Mendez, so I feel like I know you so well, but we got to meet in person for the first time at the opening of the parade. But what I've always sensed is, you know, Ryan Key, you sometimes have more energy, and Ryan Mendez, you're always like, you know, you keep the energy, you keep the vibe chill.
Yeah, I drive him crazy because I just want it to be done. I want to be done. I'm like, I see it, I hear it, I hear the music. Why can't we just be done with it?
But I think this is important, and it's important that friends
I agree
aren't always exactly alike. So Mendez, is that just who you are? Is that just
I think yeah, it definitely is who I am, and I can be energetic as well. I think it's just a matter of like I tend to just be more analytical and really just kind of try to be measured and neutral about how I approach something to make sure that it's right. And I'm not saying that my friend Ryan over here just doesn't make sure things are right. I'm just saying, like, I think it's a general natural tendency of like how we work. And I will say, if I wasn't the way that I was and he wasn't the way he is, I don't think we would be doing any of this stuff, because what we both do for it is 100% necessary, because he pushes things forward when they need to be pushed forward. And I say, hey, hold on, let's do this when it needs to be that way. And the balance of that, I think, is really what makes things succeed. But I think, yes, I think generally my tendency is to be a little bit more kind of analytical about stuff. And I will say also that he inspires me to be less like that, because I think sometimes you don't want to be like that. Sometimes you want to go. Sometimes you want to move quickly. Sometimes you want to go on instinct and not overthink everything, which is definitely a thing that I've struggled with myself over the years. And
it's a two-way street, though, because the amount that I've learned from you in terms of production and, you know, the actual understanding of frequency and music and how to record it and make it sound good is, you know, I've very much been a student of that through you. So it's like I'll still find the fastest way to get to the end, especially if I'm on my own. But the tools that I use to get there are you know, very much enhanced and improved by watching you work and watching you analyze and take things apart and put them back together and say, hold on. Because a lot of times if I'm like, it's fine, it sounds fine, it's awesome, you'll do the thing that you want to do. And then I'm like, oh yeah, now it's way better now, you know? So it's an amazing working relationship for a musical partnership. It really is. I think you could maybe equate it to, you know, like if you had like a director and writer duo that always work together on films where, you know, the director is sort of like, I just see it, I just want to make it be the thing. And the writer is finding the nuance in the, you know, in the script and the delivery and the lines, and without that relationship, you don't get a great film.
I mean, I love that. I feel like we need a little Ryan Key in our life, and we need a little Ryan Mendez. Like, you need both of those friends for sure in your life. I mean, I feel like I'm Ashley's like Tasmanian devil that just sort of like. So, but I feel like you need that. I feel like you need both a Mendez and a Key, like in terms of that yin and the yang, to really hype you up, figure out, make you look at things differently. That's incredible. It's very obvious that it's right. It works in such a brilliant, beautiful way. And I'm getting to know you all through Ashley has been so fun to sort of like, see the journey and see what y'all are up to and see who you are. But it's really cool and so amazing to learn really like this has come from the two of you. And it's, I'm so excited for y'all because it feels like a whole new chapter, which is so cool, and a new chapter that I feel like everyone is about to like be on. You know what I mean? Like, that's really exciting.
Yeah. And here's one thing. We started the episode as well. Michael's starring in Lacage au Fall.
Lacage. Lacage. Oh, fold.
But you got to get the shoulder in.
Yeah, you got to get a little. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So, but we talked about how Michael kind of manifested it and put himself out there. So we have talked so long. We appreciate your time today. I kind of want to leave it on this. What I've taken away from the two of you is yes, let's take it back to Disney. One of my favorite songs, When You Wish Upon a Star. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. I think throughout this episode, we've talked about fate and how our meeting is fate. Certain things are fate. However, fate can only see you so far. You have to put yourself out there. And the two of you, nothing's been easy. You've literally worked your butts off.
Yep.
Yes, you've been the benefactor of fate, but that wasn't for lack of working hard, believing in yourself, being rejected, being in the bottom of the depths of the valleys, and then you go to the top of the mountain, but then you go back down to the depths of the valleys again. So, I guess I don't even know if it's so much of a question, but maybe I'll leave on, what have you learned throughout this whole journey of Yellowcard and Jeddah and composing? What have you learned from just putting yourself out there and keeping going?
I'll answer first because I will say that one thing that I've struggled with over the years is doing exactly what you just said, which is putting yourself out there. And I'm that's just so not me. I'm so like shy to talk to people I don't know. Like I'm very, very open and comfortable when I'm around close friends. But that's something I've always admired about Ryan is he is just always hustling. He's always out there meeting people. He's always been like, I met this person, I talked to this person. Oh, we got this opportunity. And it's like, I mean, I wouldn't have anything I have if it wasn't for him.
It's exhausting to hear about.
But that's not what I meant, though. What I mean is that it's inspiring because it's like, yes, like I think everything you just said, Ashley, is exactly right. Fate can do what it can do, but it also, you need the other side of it, which is you need to be out there doing that. And that's always something I've struggled with. So in a HypeFriend sense, I mean, I wouldn't have anything that's going on right now if it wasn't for him out there doing things like connecting with you and meeting Roger and being like, look, we got this opportunity. We're going to, hey, check out this short film we're going to do. I've got this guy, and it's like, I wouldn't be doing any of that stuff because that's just not, I say that's not who I am as if I can't change it, but it's just my nature is to be more shy and reserved. So him doing that, it's very inspiring and it's definitely helped me move forward. So that's my portion of the answer.
I love it.
Me too.
I'm still working on it, but
you're doing a great job.
What I have to learn and fully embrace for myself is letting myself believe that I belong here. I've been talking about this a lot in press that I've been doing about the record and just how well this is all going, and about how early in my career when I had the chance to experience all of these incredible things, we're a garage band from Jacksonville, and then the Beastie Boys are handing us an award on stage at a awards show I've been watching since I was 10 years old. To experience those things back then, they happened and they were amazing, but my recollection of them is oftentimes more negative than positive. because I had no grasp on my own ability or my own my place in all of it. I struggled with I think insecurity and anxiety go hand in hand for me, and one causes the other, and it doesn't matter which one comes first. It just depends on the scenario. But those two things were eating me alive when I was young, in my early 20s, and the band was just exploding. And I didn't know that that's what was eating me alive. And I had this extremely reactive personality, burned a lot of bridges, made a lot of mistakes, treated a lot of people really poorly because I would just get so overwhelmed that I would, and to Ryan's point, I'm outward. He's inward, I'm outward. So if I'm upset, it comes out. It does. I don't keep it in. And if it comes out the wrong way, you can hurt someone who is really trying to do right by you. You know, whether it be a crew member for the band, a tour manager, you know, booking agent, manager, whoever that is faced with an impossible situation that's making you uncomfortable, but they're doing all they can, and you react poorly to it. And I have a million stories of that, you know, happening to me when I was younger. So now I've been able to recognize those emotions and feelings, and I'm not as good at it as I wish I was. I have gone through patches where I've been very good at it, like daily meditating. I get busy and I forget, but when I first got into it in 2020, 2021, I was doing it every single day and learning that concept of making more space in my mind for those reactive thoughts and that anxiety and that insecurity to sort of just happen and pass on and let it go. Don't stop it from happening, but don't focus on it either. Just breathe and let the things that are naturally going to happen in your mind happen. And I've felt a direct a real improvement in my quality of life from my ability to start to understand those things. And so with the band now having this resurgence, I walked into the studio last year with all those things on my back. I was so insecure about it, but I have since told myself that it's time to start believing in yourself, in the sense that you belong here. Yellowcard is supposed to have a top 5 single now. That all of the opportunities we have are happening because we're good at what we do and we believe in ourselves and we believe in what we create. And we have these relationships like I have with Ryan, where if I was this terrible person that I've told myself I was for so many years, Ryan wouldn't be my friend. You know? And so I'm going to get it.
You do.
So there's that. That's what I've taken away from, you know, this chapter, and what's ahead is just being more present and being more kind to myself, and like knowing that I can do this and I'm supposed to be here doing this. It's not imposter syndrome. You belong here. Your band belongs here. And there's a lot of people in the world that love and support you, and you need to focus on that.
That's what I'm taking away. That you belong here. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you both for being so honest. Thank you for sharing your friendship with us. You know, Michael's just had the chance to meet you. I've had the chance to know you both the past couple years. Thank you. You've made my days better. And I'm just so grateful to know the both of you, and
Same.
And our journey's just getting started working together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right.
I cannot
Can't
wait
wait
till October 10th so I could be like living my fierce fantasy musical extravaganza listening to the new album as well. I can't.
You're gonna love
wait.
it. I promise.
Awesome.
You're gonna love it.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for y'all.
And Disney Starlight.
And well, I mean, yes.
Wait till you see it.
I'm like very jealous that I haven't gotten to like experience it yet in person. So I'm
hopefully Ryan is somewhat based here in Orlando now too. So hopefully we're both going to be here when you come to see it. We can all go together.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Okay. It'll be a moment.
We need to discuss. Yes.
It'll be a HypeFriend hang.
Oh my.
That's right.
Ryan King, Ryan Mendez. Oh my, thank y'all so much for taking the time. It really means the world to us. And I know that our community out there can relate to literally everything.
Everything.
That you
Everything.
just talking about. It is incredibly brave and open. Thank you for being incredibly brave and open with sharing your story and sharing who you are, and just being willing to allow us to get to know you better, and so that we can learn and you know, connect on that as well. So
and be better friends because of you.
Thank you both for having us.
Thanks.
It's been absolutely amazing. You guys are so fun.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that there, you told me, you said, you were like, you're gonna love the Ryans. I love the Ryans.
Don't you love them?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was really, really awesome. Thank you for bringing them into the community, bring them into the neighborhood, because wow, what a perspective.
Well, and they're just such good friends, and they're such good friends to each other.
Yes.
And it's really inspiring to be around them because they're constantly hyping each other up.
Yes.
Like Ryan Key is like, oh, Mendez does this really well. And then Mendez is like, oh no, Ryan Key does this really well.
Yeah.
The two of them are truly a great example of what HypeFriend should look like.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, for me, it's very obvious. My takeaway, my takeaway from it, my one last, you know, situation for me is truly that you belong here, wherever, you know, wherever you are, that you belong there. You belong there. You belong in that room. You belong, you know, next to the people that maybe scare you with, you know, with their talent. You know, you belong next to the fiercest of fierce, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're there for a reason. You belong there. That to me really is, it resonates, and I think is really, really important for us all.
Well, and to tag on to that, you belong on that stage. You belong to be that Muni legend, but you have to be your own hype friend.
Yeah.
And, you know, as we discussed, you put yourself out there for Lacage. The Ryans have worked so hard for everything that they're getting now. It didn't just come to them. They've been on such a roller coaster ride. And, you know, I love how Ryan Key was really so open about all of his struggles and his doubts and his anxieties. And, you know, you have to be your own hype friend. In order to be a hype friend for someone else, you have to be your own too. And that's honestly harder to be a friend to yourself than it is to be a friend to someone else.
I completely agree. It's so much harder said than done.
Yes.
Like, it is. And so you start little by little,
little
by little, you know, doing it for yourself and really being a hype friend for yourself.
Yes. And it's not something that's ever perfect.
No.
Like you constantly have to work on it. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. But I love this. You belong. Be your own hype friend. What an episode. Yes! Oh my gosh.
What an episode.
I mean, I might have not baked my best today. This is like now hardened even more. I'm even like picking it up with my hands. Like it literally looks like one of those cleaning sponges. It does.
Like those full cleaning sponges.
It does. It doesn't even jiggle. It doesn't even jiggle anymore. It's so hard. So my bake might have been a disaster, but this episode was delicious.
Yes!
This episode was delicious. So, Michael, we did the thing in St. Louis together.
Oh my gosh.
You got to go get ready for your show.
All right. I do. You're right.
All right.
Gotta get, you know, she has to get in those heels.
All right. Well, I'm Ashley Eckstein.
And I'm Michael James Scott.
And remember, be a hype friend. The hype starts with you.